Welcome to Game Garble, a one-stop podcast for game news and portal to undiscovered and interesting game content.
This is Kayla.
Hi!
And I'm Chris, and we're your hosts.
Yeah! Welcome to Game Garble!
Welcome to Game Garble.
As always, before we get started, don't forget to subscribe so that you know when we have new episodes out.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd like to know.
We're super excited that you're here, and today's a special episode because we'll be doing our Christmas gift guides. 'Tis the season.
Yeah, we'll be telling you guys some games that, we played before, think might be a good fit.
Yeah, because, Christmas is pretty much here, or almost here, so
I know.
we gotta
get that holiday shopping.
about these lists, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really bad about shopping on time for gifts, except when it comes to Christopher. But here's the thing about Christopher and I. We always get each other gifts, and we can never wait till Christmas to give them to each other. Every year, we only make it till December 11th, so that's just our new Christmas.
Yeah. We just give each other the presents then.
We always only make it to the exact same day every year. So
now it's tradition.
Yeah, so our Christmas is on December 11th. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, so this gift guide can be found on our Facebook page too. So if you would like a hard copy to print off and take to the store with you, then that's possible because it's going to be on our Facebook.
In case you really wanted to.
Hey, you don't know. Some people are planners. I'm a planner. I totally get it. Don't let him judge you. It's totally fine.
I'm not judging.
It's totally fine. Anyway, I will put that wonderful graphic on our Facebook at Game Garble podcast so that you can download it, print it off, and maybe you just want to give it to someone because you want all the games on it. See, Christopher? You don't know.
I know. I don't know.
Yeah, apparently. So the first category is called Family Fun. And these are games that are fun to play with the whole family.
Yeah, games to play with your family and friends, but...
So, my two picks for this category are Mario Party and Overcooked.
Ooh, yeah. Good picks.
Yeah. So, Mario Party is a game that Christopher and I play with our family all the time. We're obsessed. It's so fun.
Yeah, I think they're up to Super Mario Party now for the Switch.
Yes, so. They have a new one coming out. We haven't played that one yet, so... Is it even out yet?
It is. We play it with my family.
Oh, well... I just love the Mario parties. They're always a lot of fun.
It's a great series. And it's, Mario Party is a game that breaks up families. So what better gift to give this Christmas season?
Yeah. And the mini games are so fun. So, and they really there's a diversity in the mini games that is to all levels of gameplay. Yeah.
That's exactly why it ruins families. That luck element.
Yeah. And they try to even out the game tries to even out the score by helping the person who's in last place a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Which is fun, but if you have super competitive people in your family, then probably not the game for you. But if that's the case, then Overcooked is totally the game for your family because it's not competitive. It's co-op.
Yes,
and
you'll still murder each other.
Yeah, but in a loving way. You'll murder with love. Fake murder, not real murder. We don't endorse violence. But anyway, so it's a fun game. You'll cook burritos and fish and pizza. And I think that's it. Soup. You cook soup. But anyway, there's many different levels. The older Overcooked is a lot easier than Overcooked 2.
In our humble opinions.
Yeah. There's a little more of a challenging gameplay in the second one. So if you don't have a family that's super well versed in games, then maybe start out with the first one.
Yeah, they're both such great games.
They really are.
They really value cooperation. You really got to work together if you're gonna to make this thing work. So
Yeah, so it's really good. And that Overcooked is on the Switch.
Overcooked and Overcooked 2 are on Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Gotcha. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Christopher, what are your 2 picks for the family fun
So
category?
my picks for family fun were Super Mario Bros. Wii U Deluxe.
Nice.
Yeah, so playing Mario Bros, most people, if they haven't played it, they've heard about it. And Wii U Deluxe takes Super Mario Bros. And throws 4 of them on the same screen. So it's a lot of fun. It can get hectic with the more people you have on screen. Honestly, playing it with like just a friend or maybe 2 friends is best, because once you get 4 people on there, it's complete
tough.
chaos.
Yeah.
But it's still a lot of fun. I've always had a blast playing these kind of games with my family.
Super great for the small family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or maybe just the husband-wife duo. That's still family.
It is. And this is the same version that came out for the Wii U, but they added a few features. And if you didn't have a Wii U and you got a Switch, then this is perfect.
Yeah.
Or you can just go grab the one for the Wii U if you happen to have one of those.
I mean, I like the Wii U. It's very underrated.
It is.
And what is your second pick for family fun?
Yeah, my second pick is Human Fall Flat, which is a physics-based puzzle game / platformer that has you and up to 8 of your friends, 7 of your friends, to go through these worlds and solve puzzles and get from one place to the next. It's a lot of fun. I've had so much fun playing this with my brothers.
I tried. I couldn't get into it. I'm not good with physics games, though, to be fair. So
it takes a second to get used to. When I first played it, I played it for like 5 minutes and gave up. I didn't have fun. But once I played it with my brothers, I was like, I'll give it a shot. And then I like learned how to control the guy. I was set.
And then you were a boss.
Oh, I was all over the place. I was doing flips and climbing up walls and jumping all over the place. Oh, it was so much fun. And they just came out with a new ice level.
Whoa.
So if you already have the game, then go play the stinking ice level.
Maybe I'll give it a second chance and play the ice level with you.
Yeah, it's probably going to be infuriating what ice levels aren't, but it's going to be fun.
That's fair. But 'tis the season.
It is.
'Tis the season.
Now we're going to go into our party games.
Party!
Kayla, what recommendations do you have for games for a party setting?
Well, Christopher, as you know, I love a good party.
Oh, I do know that.
Yes, love a good party. So my first pick is Jackbox.
Oh, the Jackbox party games.
Yeah,
that's
those
a
are
good one.
so fun. It's very dependent on what group of people you're with and their humor level. But it usually gets quite a few laughs and is pretty bonding, I would say.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so you'll want to make sure that the people that are coming to the party or that you're going to the party with have a cell phone with them that is charged. Everyone brings a cell phone. Not everyone charges it. But you need the cell phone to play Jackbox. And it is so fun. And as of right now, it's on Game Pass. So if you want to check it out before you buy it, just download that junk.
Yeah, and they have so many of these different games. Each pack comes with about 5 to 6 different Jackbox party games. And I can't remember if they're up to 6 or 7 now. But there's a lot of them. And they're only like $20 per pack.
And they have like a family version and then they have like the rated R version. And I've only played the rated R. I've never played the family version because my friends are a little ridiculous.
But your family.
And my family, yeah. Mainly my family. But yeah, so it's a lot of fun. It's a really good party game. It can be a really good drinking game. So Drink responsibly. But yes, it's a lot of fun. So definitely suggest getting that game.
Yeah, TKO is my favorite Jackbox party game of all.
Is that the one with the t-shirt
That's the t-shirt
designs?
challenge.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
cool thing about that particular game is that you can get those t-shirts printed, which is
you can.
awesome.
You can.
Yeah. So, my next suggestion for a party game, this is a little more PG, is the game in Wario for Wii U.
Yeah, so this one's going to be a bit more obscure because the game itself is kind of rare. It's hard to find a copy now. Almost as hard as it is to find a Wii U.
Yeah, but if you can
house.
get your hands on this game and a Wii U, you should definitely do it because it is so stinking fun.
It is an excellent party game. It's so much fun. It's super underrated.
Yeah. So we pull it out a lot when we have our friends over because it's just a fun game that everyone can play and that everyone likes to play, even if they aren't into gaming.
Yeah, we've introduced this to friends that have never picked up and played a game before. And they've really gotten into it.
Or who are, for some reason, like against gaming. And then they get their hands on this game and they're like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. And it like gets them into gaming too, which is awesome.
The only thing about this one though is that for like a party, it has like a Pictionary game, but then as far as party games go, there are only 2 other ones that are up to 5 players.
Yeah.
So
there's not a huge variety of different games you
right,
can play.
most of the games are single player or 2 player.
Right.
So
but the few group ones they have, you can keep playing and it's still really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the last time we had people over, we were playing the same game for like 3 hours.
Islands is such a fun
we
game.
had so much fun. Islands is definitely the best. Pictionary is also fun. And then if you're playing with 2 people, I think actually it goes up to 4 people. The drawing game with the measurements. Yeah. So there's a lot of options. It's a really fun game. So you should definitely check it out.
Yeah. For my picks, I picked Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time.
So fun. This was actually my Valentine's Day present a few years ago.
Yeah. This is a
so
really
cute.
fun game that...
I think that was our first Valentine's Day.
Oh, I guess it was.
Yeah, it was. It was my first Valentine's present from Christopher.
Aww.
It was very cute.
So this game is a space shooter, and you and up to 4 people are piloting this spaceship to rescue people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Save their lives.
Yeah, fill up the hearts. So one person will be like controlling the ship and controlling like the engines and boosting around. Another person will be controlling a gun. Someone else will be controlling a shield or another gun. And the way that the guns are situated is like there's one for each side of the ship, like up, down, left, and right. So everyone will be constantly, well, in most cases, be moving back and forth between all of these different stations, depending on where the action is.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's great for a group of people that are going to like sit down and play for a little while. So
Yeah,
this
it's
is
a great
really,
game.
yeah, really good one. Another one that's really fun in parties is Rocket League.
Yeah, it's a pretty popular one.
It
I think
is a
everyone
really
plays Rocket
popular
League.
game, and it's a lot of fun. Rocket League is one of those that it takes a little while to figure out the controls and get to the point where you can play it. But once you're into it, it's really addicting.
And the cool thing about Rocket League is there's a lot of popularity over all the generations. Like the younger kids are playing it, millennials, and the older generation. Like there's a lot of like diversity with the ages of people who really like it. So it's really good if you're having like a family party or like a party that has a lot of different age groups coming. because it has a lot of popularity across the board.
Yeah. And I'll go ahead and say that I'm not typically one to play a sports game.
Yeah, me either. Sports and stuff, not our thing,
Not
really.
not when it comes to video games.
No.
But Rocket League drew me in because it's freaking rocket-powered cars
That you can
ramming a
customize.
soccer ball into a goal.
Now, Christopher's a little biased because he plays soccer in real life, but it still is really cool.
I mean, they have basketball and hockey too.
Oh, I did not know that. That's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
So it's a lot of fun. The only thing about this game is that there is a big technical aspect to it, and it takes a lot of skill. But besides that, it's a lot of fun to play, and especially if you have a large group of friends to play together, it's a load of fun.
It's a good, like, guys' night game or girls' night game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our next category is the newbie category.
Ooh.
And so this category is for people new to gaming or for people who want to get into gaming. So these are going to be games that are a lot of fun that don't take a lot of skill to be good at, but will help you build on skills to play harder and more challenging games.
Yeah, they're easy to pick up and play.
Yeah. And so my first game is Fantasy Life, and my second choice is Slime Rancher. And I love both of those games. And what's great about them for new people is that they're pretty intuitive. They're easy to pick up, and they have tutorials to help teach you play the game, but their tutorials aren't so long that you get bored with trying to get into it. Because I feel like some people who try to get into games, they pick a game and the tutorial is like half an hour or an hour, and they just like give up. I've had people do that with Animal Crossing. But these games, like, you immediately start playing. The tutorials are really short and they're very entertaining. And so you don't feel like you're watching a tutorial. You feel like you're like immersed into it. So yeah, so Fantasy Life is a really good example. And
that one's for 3DS.
Yeah, and there's a lot of diversity in Fantasy Life because you can play many different professions. So you can play as a knight, seamstress, a woodcutter. Like, there are tons of different options for you to play to progress through the story. And there's also a storyline. So you collect resources, you get to craft. So it's building on, you know, a lot of those skills that you'll use in more advanced games, but in a really fun way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Slime Rancher is just like my personal favorite game, so I'm going to be a little biased towards it. But it's great because it's not a super difficult game. And there's different settings, so you can play where you don't even have monsters that come to eat you or attack you. So there are different entry level options for people who just don't want the pressure of being killed by a monster, which is understandable, while they're just starting to get into gameplay.
Yeah.
So you build a farm. It's a simulation game. And it's just a lot of fun to explore. So you get rewarded for exploring, which is also another skill to build on that more advanced games usually have. So it teaches you the technique of exploration and then the reward that comes with exploration in harder games. So yeah, it's a great one. Highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. And the good thing about Slime Rancher is you really get your money out of it because you can spend hundreds of hours of gameplay in it. Like, there's a lot that you can do. And with the new expansion packs, there's, you know, even more options. So it's a good one.
Yeah. My picks were Kirby Star Allies for the Switch. Kirby has always been a game to ease new players into video games.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and Kirby Star Allies is no different. It's as far as gameplay goes, it's a walk in the park. It's an introduction to platforming, but it's fun. You have
Yeah.
lots of different power-ups and combinations, so gameplay is still fun. But for someone that's new to gaming, it's more than easy enough that you can make plenty of mistakes and still be fine. The game is super forgiving, and it's colorful and bright, and it's multiplayer. So if you have like kids that are just getting into gaming, this is a perfect game for them.
Yeah, because you can play right alongside them.
Yeah, exactly.
Make some memories.
Yeah. Another one that's good for newcomers is Kingdom Hearts 3. So this is for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And this game is, as far as like the gameplay itself, it does take a second to figure out the controls, but there's honestly not much to it. And the game itself, especially when you put it on the easier difficulty settings, is a cakewalk. It's super easy to plug through.
And this is really great for people that are into Disney, whether you're a kid or an adult. If you're like super into Disney and want to start getting into gaming, this is an awesome game for you because you get to play with your favorite Disney characters. You know? So what's more fun than that when you're super into Disney?
Exactly. And there's the Disney worlds in here are huge. And there's a lot of emphasis. Out of all the Kingdom Hearts games, they've really done the most service to these Disney worlds.
And the merch for this game is crazy. There's so much merch. I mean, it's Disney, so obviously, but yeah, it's a really fun game. I like it.
It is. I have my own personal gripes because I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, and I wasn't exactly pleased with this
The new
end to the
one.
trilogy.
I was surprised that the new one didn't have what's his name? Jafar?
Yeah, no Aladdin. Hercules is the only returning
Yeah.
world. But my personal feelings for it aside, it's still an excellent game for
It is
newcomers.
really good.
And for anyone that loves Disney.
And Disney villains.
That too, yeah.
You will love that game. So our next category is, the next three are for more, actually next four are for more like of the person in your life that's more of an advanced gamer and has like favorite types of games.
Yeah.
So, our first category is open world co-op. So my two recommendations for getting an open world co-op game, either for yourself as a little, Christmas treat for yourself, nothing wrong with that. Treat yourself.
Yeah.
Or if you have a loved one or just a friend that is interested in open world co-op games, is Monster Hunter and then also Sea of Thieves. And open world co-op games are great because you can often play with people that aren't with you at the moment. So like, let's say you live in a different state than Bob and Bob's your boyfriend and you want to play with Bob. Totally can, as long as you both have internet in the game. So it's pretty awesome. Monster Hunter, there's so many different worlds to explore. It's visually beautiful. You can craft. They have a really cool storyline. And I play this game a lot with my brothers, and they're way more advanced at gaming than I am. So they just beat all the hard monsters, and I get all the awesome stuff from it, which is awesome.
And there's a lot of these games.
Yeah.
But specifically, the most recent one, Monster Hunter World, is the
so
one to
good.
go for.
Yeah.
Especially
absolutely.
for people that are new to this series. It's an excellent one to start with because a lot of the things that you have to learn for the game are really streamlined.
Yeah, I've never played any of the other Monster Hunters. I've only played Monster Hunter
I've tried.
World.
They're tough to get into.
Yeah. Well, I downloaded this one because my brothers were playing it and they asked me to get it so that they could play with me. And it was a really good decision because I really, really like it a lot.
Yeah.
So now I play it even without them because I like it. So
And this was my first Monster Hunter game.
Yeah, and you liked it, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I mean, my brothers and I love to play Dark Souls together. So when we found out there was a game that was literally boss fight after boss fight, we were pretty sold.
Yeah, absolutely. So my other pick is called Sea of Thieves.
Ooh.
And in Sea of Thieves, you play as a pirate. I mean,
Yeah.
how cool is that? You can live out your Jack Sparrow fantasy of being him.
You can.
Yeah.
It's really a pirate's life, guys.
It is really a pirate's life. It's not a super, like, in my opinion, easy game, but it's a lot of fun. I once again bought this because my brothers wanted to play it, and so they do most of the hard work, and I just reap the benefits. But it's still a lot of fun. You play in an open world, so remember that people are also playing and can steal your stuff. So remember that. But it's a lot of fun just to explore the open sea, fix your boat from sinking, hop island to island, meet the locals,
Fight
steal
sharks
some treasure.
and krakens.
Yeah, fight those krakens.
Yeah.
I didn't fight a shark, but I did help fight a kraken. And by help, I mean I hid in the bottom of the boat.
And we died. This is definitely one to play
It's a
with
really
other
fun
people.
game.
You can play this game by yourself.
I feel like, why would you play this game by yourself?
Yeah,
like,
it's
don't
so
do
much-
that. Don't be that
It's so much
person.
more fun to play with other people.
Find friends online that'll play with you. There's a huge community, so don't play by yourself. Yeah, it's gonna be harder to get stuff. So Christopher, what were your two open world co-op picks?
So my picks were Ark Survival Evolved.
Nice.
Yeah, so this one it can be a mouthful whenever you first jump into a world and start playing. There's a lot to learn initially, but then once you get the basics down, it's pretty smooth sailing. And one of my hardest things when first playing this game was figuring out how to play and what servers to play on, because there's so many different ways to customize this game that it can be super overwhelming. But this is a really fun open world game. The worlds that you explore are huge, and there's so many different types of monsters and dinosaurs to tame, to ride, to fight, and
But they fight back.
you
can get eaten, just saying.
They do. You level these things up. You have skills and sets and different things you can put on your dinosaurs. It's a lot of fun. And I've had a ton of fun playing with my brothers and friends with this game. But it can definitely be either really fun or really boring depending on what servers you play on. Because the default settings, you're taming these dinosaurs for literal days.
Yeah.
For one dinosaur. And that's not fun to me. It's way more
Right.
fun
It's
when
more
it just
grinding.
takes like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So, as if you want an open world game to play with other people online or with friends, that's an excellent one to pick. The other one, I mean, you really can't go wrong with Minecraft. It gets a bad rap, I guess, but if you want to play an open world game with your friends, I mean, this is the way to go. And there's no way that, like, if you don't have some sort of computer or a phone, that you cannot play Minecraft with other people.
That is true.
So
There's a lot of options with Minecraft.
literally just in terms of accessibility, this game is excellent. And a lot of people look at this game and go, well, I don't really like building, so why am I going to play Minecraft? But that's literally one small part of the game. I got into Minecraft because I like surviving. I liked building, like crafting things and exploring. And this game has a lot of that.
Yeah, there is a lot of exploration, especially if you explore like a fan created map.
Yes.
Which is awesome. Another aspect, you can create your own maps for your friends to play.
You can. And one of the things that I love the most about Minecraft is the mod community. There's so many incredible mods for this game that have turned it into a literal action RPG that it's just bonkers how many different ways you can play this game. One of my favorite things to do was my brothers and I would play on a world with nothing on it, and you just had an alchemy tablet, and you would create everything from this tablet.
So cool.
Yeah, and build your own world. So Minecraft is an excellent game if you're wanting to play with friends.
So true.
Yeah.
So our next category is action adventure.
Yeah.
And for this section, my 2 picks are Zelda Breath of the Wild and also the Spyro collection.
Yeah.
So Zelda Breath of the Wild, well, both the Zelda and the Spyro games are like games from my childhood, and these are the remastered versions of those. And so I just really connect because it's like they created, I guess remastered isn't the right word, new creations of something old. And so yeah, I really liked Zelda Breath of the Wild. I thought it was really beautiful. And the cool thing about Breath of the Wild is that if you don't want to follow the storyline or, you know, do any of the tasks, you don't have to. You can literally just explore the map because it's so big and so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's so many different things that you can do in this game, and it's really visually stunning.
Yeah, literally everywhere you
job.
go, there's something to look at.
Yeah, it is a big game, so be prepared for your system to be playing a big game. So if your system isn't compatible for that, it's going to be laggy. But if you play it on the Xbox, the Switch, etc., you're going to be fine. And it was super fun. I loved it.
Yeah, and this is only on the Switch for Zelda.
Oh, it's only on the Switch?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Spyro is on PS4, Xbox One, PC,
sorry, I was thinking.
And Switch.
So Spyro, this was actually a surprise gift from Christopher because I loved Spyro as a kid.
It's true.
And I was super sad that like I didn't have Spyro anymore as an adult, and so I didn't know a new one was coming out. So I was not only surprised with the new Spyro, but I was surprised with the fact that they made a new Spyro. It was really exciting, and I loved it. It's a lot of fun. It's not like a super challenging game, but like that doesn't matter. It's so fun, and I had a great time playing it with Christopher. So, little blast from your past. For those that don't have any connection to Spyro, it's still a really fun game. It's kind of cutesy. And it's just a really wholesome game.
Yeah, it's a really fun action platformer.
Yeah. And so, Christopher, what were your 2 tops for action adventure?
My picks were Hollow Knight and Dragon Quest XI.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah, so these are 2 very different games as far as what genre they are, how they're played. So Hollow Knight's a Metroidvania. It's a beautiful game.
It's very beautiful.
Super atmospheric.
Kind of like eerie, but in a beautiful way, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's really cool, and it rewards exploration.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's actually, I would say, like a big part of the game is exploration.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool. What about Dragon Quest?
And Dragon Quest XI is a JRPG. A very old-fashioned one. This is one of the original JRPGs, but brought to you in a modern form. So I've always loved RPGs my whole life, and JRPGs. And the original Dragon Quest series I had a hard time getting into. But 11 made a lot of the things that were tough about getting into some of these older entries way easier. It's a much more streamlined game, but it still keeps all the charms from a JRPG, and it's an excellent story. A lot of these RPGs have very typical stories. Main character's got amnesia. Who would have thunk?
Yeah, who would have guessed?
Who would have thunk? But this story it plays out nice, and I feel like it honors a lot of the games that came before it, but also whilst putting its own spin on it.
Yeah.
And I had such an excellent time playing this game. And I sunk over 100 hours
Wow.
into this. So anyone that's a fan of RPGs at all and was apprehensive about this game, I would totally recommend it.
Okay. Yeah. So our next category are puzzle games or puzzle platformers.
Yeah.
And this is one of my favorite genres. And so my two picks are Bird Gut, which we did a podcast on, so go check that out if you haven't, and also The Witness. So for those of you who haven't heard that podcast on Bird Gut, it's a very unique puzzle platformer.
Yeah.
It's a hand-drawn, cutesy but creepy, but also like humorous puzzle platformer. And it's not super challenging. Like, you can probably finish it in a few days. It's just a lot of fun. So I would suggest that for sure.
And it's free.
You
can't beat that.
Yeah, it's free to play. So download that junk on Steam.
And for a free game, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I
for
was
free
really
to play, we
surprised
were like pretty
how
shocked.
well done it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, The Witness. So The Witness is a puzzle platformer that you're like trying to solve this story by discovering different things on an island. And it is a lot of fun. It is challenging though. It's much more challenging than Bird Gut. So
Yeah, this game is pure puzzle.
yeah.
So
it's not really a platformer, it's just a puzzle game.
Yeah, it teaches you a method, and then it asks you to reciprocate that in more and more challenging puzzles, and then it teaches you something new, and then you do that over again.
Yeah, and Christopher and I treat this game as a puzzle. So, like when you're doing an actual puzzle, how you'll leave it out on like a table and you'll just do a few pieces at a time. That's how we are with this game. So we have it downloaded and we just play it every once in a while. We still haven't finished it. We're quite far into the game, but it's pretty challenging and we don't like to cheat. I mean, we have, but we don't like to do it. So
yeah,
we try to like take little pieces at a time. And it helps us savor it a little bit too, because we really like it. But yeah, there's a lot of like mystery in it, and it's a lot of fun. But just keep in mind that it is pretty difficult. So if you're up for the challenge, I think it's an awesome game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So Christopher, what are your two picks?
So my two picks were Inside and Layton's Mystery Journey.
Nice.
Yeah, so Inside is the second game from the people who made Limbo.
Okay.
And it is a really atmospheric game. It's really beautifully and well done. And it's one of those games that, it has puzzles. It is a puzzle platformer, and it is difficult.
It's pretty difficult.
Like, trying to figure out what in the world is going on in this game, like, keeps you wanting to progress.
Oh, okay. I haven't played much of it. I've only played the beginning of it.
Yeah, so
it's a little too difficult for me. And I love puzzle games, and I loved
Limbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an excellent puzzle platformer. And then Layton's Mystery Journey is a really fun puzzle game. So essentially the Layton series gives you a word puzzle and then you answer it. Some of them are more in the form of riddles. Some of them ask you to solve an equation or do a problem. But they're really fun. And the way that they do the art and the style of the game makes it a lot of fun to play. And the Layton's Mystery Journey is it's a remastered deluxe version for the Switch. So
cool.
Yeah, it's a good one to look into the Layton series and see if it's something you like.
Yeah. So our last category is indie games. And this is an indie game podcast, so it's very fitting that we talk about indie games.
Yeah, it sure is.
So my 2 picks would be What Remains of Edith Finch, and we also did a game Garble episode on this, so go back and check it out. It's in season 1. I believe it's episode 2. Bird Gut was episode 1. And it's really good. It's very creative. It's very visually stunning, and it gives you like a creepy feeling inside, and it leaves you with wanting more, which I appreciate about that game. So it's very unique. It's going to give you a very unique experience, and it's only going to take you about 2 or 3 hours to finish, but it's still really worth it.
It's a short game, but the impact that these stories leaves you with
is so long-term, in my opinion.
Yeah. These stories really stick with you.
They do.
And it's a really, I don't know, I guess it's a beautiful way that they did these games, that even like months after we've played this game, we're still thinking about it.
I know. It's such a good game.
Yeah.
So I would recommend that. Also, warning, if you have triggers about suicide, death, things of that nature, then probably not the game for you. But if you don't have those triggers, then definitely check it out. It's very good. My next game on the list is Ori and the Blind Forest.
Oh, it's such a good game.
It's so good. And I got into this game. I had wanted it for a while after it came out, and then just like kind of forgot about it. And then Christopher's dad downloaded it and started playing it. And boy, I'm so glad he did, because I love that game. It's so visually stunning.
Yeah.
It's kind of a puzzle platformer, correct?
It's a Metroidvania.
Yeah. So, I mean, it gets challenging, it progresses, but it's so much fun and it's so beautiful. And yeah, so I would recommend checking it out.
My picks were Hat in Time and Untitled Goose Game.
Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah.
It's such a cute game.
It is a really cute game.
It's fun.
It is. Untitled Goose Game is one of those games where you look at someone playing it and you're like, what is going on?
What are you doing?
And then you play it and you're like, this is fun.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it's a lot of fun.
It's fun to be like a little mischievous, you know?
And trying to create havoc for these poor townspeople.
And who doesn't like to play as a goose? I mean, come on.
Yeah,
That's
there's
so fun.
a serious amount of charm with this game.
You know what would be better if they made one of you playing as a goat?
That would be a lot of fun.
Untitled Goat Game. It's not real, but, go out and invent that junk. That'd be so much fun.
Throw that out into the world.
Yeah.
And so A Hat in Time is a 3D platformer. It's along the veins of Super Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie. And this game is, so much fun playing it. Yeah, it's got a lot of charm. The worlds are beautiful and a lot of fun to play. And there's plenty to do in these worlds, but when you look at just how many, you don't collect stars, you collect hourglasses in this game. And there's not a ton of hourglasses, but these worlds are so big, and getting them is a pretty big undertaking, that there's still tons of game here. Anyone that's a fan of 3D action platformers would love this game. Yeah, and I believe they came out with some new DLC for it not too long ago.
Cool.
New update, so
that's really cool. So that's our list of games that would be great for purchasing on Black Friday.
Just to
or
give some
Boxing Day.
ideas, maybe spur some game shopping. Who knows?
So we hope you enjoyed this gift guide, and don't forget that if you want a printable version, that you can go to our Facebook and download that junk.
Yes.
ready for reporting, a portion dedicated to what's happening in game culture.
Yeah.
So, Christopher, what's happening in game culture?
Yeah. Reporter Chris here telling you about the Google Stadia.
What? I have heard lots of discussion on the podcasts and the YouTubes and everything in between about this. So,
yeah,
please share with us.
There's a lot of buzz about this.
There is quite the buzz.
So, you get a controller and a little capture button, and that's the Google Stadia.
Oh, okay.
The idea is that you don't need a console to play your games. You have Chromecast or something that runs through your phone or your TV or your computer, and you have a controller and you play your games with it.
Okay, and how much does this cost?
So the Google Stadia itself is going to be $129.
Ooh,
And I want to say the controllers are about $60 for extra controllers.
Wait, so you have to pay for the actual Google Stadia, then you have to pay for the controller.
Right, because this capture button that comes with it is integral to the system. So it's a little more than just a controller, but there's no console. So you don't have to lug around a giant computer machine.
But then there's also a subscription, right?
So they have a similar subscription model that PlayStation and Nintendo and Sony have. I mean, Sony and Xbox and Nintendo have. And you pay $9.99 a month, and you have your Pro subscription, which allows you to stream better, and it gives you more options, and you get games for free every month.
I don't know about this because so you're buying Google Stadia. So is that the service that you're buying, or is it like a mechanism that goes on your TV or your phone?
So
is that like the flat re-entrance for this service?
So the $129 is how much you pay for Google Stadia. The Pro is just an add-on subscription.
It's an add-on, so you don't
need it.
So you don't need the Pro subscription. So what does the Pro subscription give you then?
Free games every month, and it gives you
like
other
Game
features.
Pass.
Yeah,
it's like their version of Game Pass then.
Sure.
Okay, so what do you get with the $129?
So what they do is they stream games to you. And so
a select number of games. Okay.
So
outside of the Pro subscription.
They say they're going to build their library, but at launch, which is November 19th, they're only going to have 12 games.
Okay.
At launch. It's going to be Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the Destiny 2 collection, GYLT, Just Dance 2020, Kine, Mortal Kombat 11, Red Dead Redemption 2, Samurai Showdown, Thumper, Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
So they have Assassin's Creed, so that's a good one.
Right.
They have Destiny, and they have the Tomb Raider, so that's not bad. But it seems like they don't have enough for this $129 entry fee at this point.
Yeah, at this point, it's pretty slim pickings. Now, on their website, they have a larger selection of games that are definitely going to be released eventually on the Stadia.
Okay.
I want to say it was something like 50 games. But right at launch, there's only going to be 12 to play from. So, I mean...
I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, really...
The whole subscription is confusing, honestly. Because at least when you're buying a console, it might cost you $200 or $300, but then you have the console and you can keep it. Maybe it can build equity. Most likely it won't, but it could potentially in 50 years. But with the Google Stadia, it's like, okay, you pay $129 just to get access to it. Plus you have to buy the controller. Plus to get any of the good games, you have to get a Pro subscription for $10 a month.
And these games won't work
I'll lug around
without
the Xbox.
internet.
Yeah, like that
because
doesn't
you
make
gotta
sense.
stream them.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not for me. It could be for people. Could be for other
For people on
It
the
might,
go,
I
people that
guess,
travel a lot. This
yeah,
is
but if they travel a
definitely
lot, they might not have secured Wi-Fi to be able to do this.
they don't. I mean, you
So,
play it at a hotel.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
they definitely have an audience in mind with this, and this is kind of where people think that video games are going to be headed to a stream base instead of a physical base. I mean, how many games do you actually physically own?
Yeah,
I
that's a
used
good
to
point.
only own physical games, but
Mhm.
having them digitally is so easy.
Yeah,
And if
and I
something
agree with
happens to the
that
physical one, you're out of
to a
luck.
point. I mean, I agree with that to a point. Like, I do still like having some physical copies just because I like having something tangible.
too.
But, like, most of our games are downloaded games. But with this, it's streaming. So you have to have
Yeah.
internet to play them. Like, I can play any of my downloaded games that I paid for anytime I want without internet.
As long as they're downloaded onto your system.
Yeah, exactly. But now with this being you need internet, and we don't know how internet pricing is going to change in the next 10 or 15 years.
Right.
They could upcharge a lot of the internet price, especially if certain bills get passed. And so if you're going to be spending so much money to play these big games online all the time, it might not even be worth the investment. Like, I don't know if where it is right now is very future thinking, in my opinion, for whatever that's worth.
It could be just too early for something like this.
Yeah. I don't think it's the right time for something like this. I think they need to find out what's going to happen with internet pricing in the next 5 to 10 years, and then...
Well, I mean, it is Google. So.
Yeah, I mean, it is Google, so that's very true.
They may want to be pioneering something like
laying
this.
Laying some foundation down.
Especially because, I mean, a lot of people have already started streaming services like this, and they've been somewhat successful, so... Yeah, only time will tell. All this information was pulled from their Facebook page, but we'll also go ahead and link it in the podcast
check it out.
description.
I mean, I'm sure that we'll probably get it at some point in our life. Like, I'm not, like, completely hating on it.
No,
I
it's just
don't
very
know.
new and very interesting.
Yeah, and I just don't know how popular it's going to be right out of the gate.
Especially with nothing that's really selling it. GYLT is the only unique game to the Stadia.
I think it's going to take 5 or 6 years to develop and really
somewhat
get
older
going.
Games from other systems.
Where we take a unique or unknown game and chat about it. This week's game is called Never Alone. It was published by Eline in November 18th of 2014. It's available on PS3, PS4, Xbox One, Wii U, Vita Shield.
NVIDIA Shield, PC, iPhone, and Android. So, Never Alone is a puzzle platformer adventure game. Pretty cool. It is pretty cool. It's co-op.
It's visually stunning, let me tell you. It's so beautiful, and the music is so good. It's very good, and it's very creative.
Yeah, and these stories are real stories told by the Alaska Natives called the Nupiaq people.
Yeah, so before we get into the actual game, we just want to acknowledge that this game was produced by Alaskan Natives called the Inupiaq, and it's important because these stories in this game are stories from their tribe told by their people, so it gives them a voice to their culture. So instead of people outside of their culture telling their stories. They're empowered to tell their own story. So we just want to acknowledge that before we get into the game.
Yeah.
And if you want to learn more about the Inupiaq people, we are going to link the game's their website so that you can check it out, learn more about the tribe, learn more about indigenous people and the beauty of their culture and also their current struggles. One really cool aspect of the game is once you start playing it, you can find owls, and the owls unlock many documentaries about the Inupiaq people and their culture. So then when you're done with the game, you can go back and watch the documentaries, and those documentaries are actual tribe members telling their cultural stories. But you have to earn those stories by finding those owls. So find the owls. So, Christopher, do you want to tell everyone about the gameplay of Never Alone?
Yeah, so you start off playing a little girl that stuck in a snowstorm. Her people have been just blanketed by a snowstorm for days and days. And she ventures out to go find out why the snowstorm is happening. And she runs across a little fox.
He's such a cute little fox.
Yeah. And the fox helps guide her on her journey to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
And so the cool thing about this game is that one person controls the girl and the other controls the fox.
It's very hard to play without the co-op mode.
Right.
Because you have to control the girl and the fox. So it's meant to be played in community, which is also a reflection of the Inupiaq culture. So grab a friend when you play this. You'll have a much better experience. Trust me.
Yeah. And it's a really telling story. It's very stunning. It's telling you about a culture and a people's life. So, yeah.
Yeah, so basically she goes out in the snow. She sees this fox. I think she's going to either go hunting or gather wood or something. I don't remember. And she comes back and her tribe is gone. And so she is trying to find her tribe, but also like find out what happened. And it's very powerful because it's about this little girl who overcomes some really like dark and horrible things, not only like outside of like the weather, but also with the weather. Like she is trying to, she has to go against the wind and the storms and polar bears that are trying to eat her.
Freaking polar bears.
I know, those polar bears. You got to watch out for the polar bears. A little bit of a jump scare. Yeah, they come back. Warning, they come back. So, yeah, and also like these outside forces that, have affected her tribe. And so it's a really powerful story. We're almost done with it. We haven't finished it yet, and we're really excited to finish it so we can unlock the rest of the documentaries. But it's a really powerful story, and it gives you an insight into another culture, which is really awesome. Yeah, so it's very powerful, and it's very unique. The co-op, I've never played a co-op game like this before because you are very dependent on your relationship with each other in the game to overcome the challenges in the game.
Yeah, it's not just like you're platforming through these segments together. There are segments where only the fox can reach, and then the fox helps the little girl up, or vice versa, where the little girl has the ability to knock something down so that they can both progress.
Yeah.
And it's done in a really well way. It's not gimmicky in that sort of way. It's done super well.
Yeah, it's very, very beautiful, and the music is so good.
It is. There were a couple of platforming segments that were pretty tricky. Like we weren't able to get out of the way quick enough because of the way the controls are. But wow, other than that, this was an excellent game.
Yeah, it was really good. I have enjoyed every minute of it. Like, there's not a part that I was like, oh, I don't like this, or oh, this is boring, or oh, I can't believe I have to get through this to get to the good part. No, there wasn't any of that for me in this game. And it is fun to like look for the owls and try to find them and then get rewarded for finding them by getting like more and more parts of the documentary. So yeah, I really like it. I recommend it. Yeah. So
it's a really good game.
Yeah, and I think this is very fitting for the time because with the past, 2 months have had a lot of holidays that don't necessarily recognize Indigenous people or like the sacrifices they've had to make for this country and that still make for this country. They're just not being recognized, I would say, in general. And so I think it's really important to understand that all people are human beings and that we shouldn't be celebrating a time that celebrates genocide, And so I think that part of encouraging other people and acknowledging people as being global citizens, not just like part of an area, is to one, like admit that there is currently still a problem, and two, not to celebrate genocide, acknowledge it but not celebrate it, and three, to like encourage people that are of those minority groups by empowering them and supporting them when they are empowered to tell their own story. And I can't speak for that because I am not Indigenous. I'm Mexican. Some people consider that Indigenous. I particularly don't because I don't feel like I have the same struggles that Indigenous people do. So I can't speak for them or their tribe, obviously, because I'm not part of that. But belonging to a minority group, I think it's important to, for all races and ethnicities, to encourage other people and to acknowledge that we're all human beings.
Yeah, so, uplift each other.
Yeah, so in this time where people, like in these past 2 months where people have, sometimes unknowingly supported genocide in this country, I think it's important to acknowledge a game that supports Indigenous people and helps tell their story,
and a good
their tribe,
game at that.
And their culture. It is such a fun game.
Yeah, and it's got a good story.
Gameplay.
So that's 2 great reasons to play it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. That's all we have for you today. So check out that gift guide and let us know how your Black Friday or Boxing Day goes, and have a great week.
Yeah, thanks for listening in.
Yeah, and we will see you next week. Bye. Did you have a good time? Leave us a 5-star rating with games you would like us to chat about next, and you could be featured in an upcoming episode. Don't forget to subscribe and talk with us on social media. Links are in the description. Thanks for visiting, friends, and until next time, game on!